know that Global Television can be watched in Nigeria and all over the world?
Download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to watch Global Television real-time from around the world. What are you waiting for?
Start downloading and stay connected to Global Television.
Policies and political actors are in the news every day, all day. And on our part, we guide you through the noise and get you to the heart of the matter. Big Talk is your home of all-angle analysis of the top political stories. Airing weekdays on Global TV, 7 p.m. Big Talk, engaging and insightful. And I'll turn attention now to the Rivers State crisis as groups are demanding for immediate investigation into serious allegations made by the former head of service, Dr. George Nweke, and a lot of concern surrounding what the former head of service said. A lot of revelations. Of course, the government of Obara have been trying to also respond to all of those concerns, but there are a lot to be worried about because if matters of this nature are not fully followed and substantiated, it may become a problem. And joining us now virtually here from Abuja is Dr. Nwabu Gabriel, the convener of Center for Credible Leadership. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good evening.
All right. There are a lot of persons saying that how true are these allegations, because that is a former head of service who probably was working hand in hand with the governor for coming out, because we saw a video as well after allegations where the governor put a call across to the wife of the former head of service, in which it was said it was looking as if the whole scenario or his revelation was manipulative or not true. From your own point, what are your concerns?
Thank you so much for having me, and good evening. You see, what we have seen in the past few days was an allegation that is very huge and humongous. And the law is simple. He who alleges must prove. Now, Dr. George Nweke, who was the head of service, in Rivers State until a few days ago when he resigned, did say that his conscience did not allow him. He was very uncomfortable, why these things were going on. So he decided to tender his resignation, voluntarily, not under duress, and then decided to be the whistleblower. Now, as Civil Rights Coalition under the Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness, we do not know Dr. Nweke, George Nweke before now. We've never seen him. I've never seen him. I don't know him. I've never seen the suspended governor of Fubara. I've never seen him. I don't know him. But he who alleges must prove. Now, Dr. Nweke did say that he has enough facts, to prove all the allegations for which he has, dispensed in the two press conferences he granted. Now, there are 5, very germane points that Dr. Nweke raised. He raised issues, directive for ASEM. He did say that the suspended governor Fubara, working in tandem with his chief of staff, Mr. Edison Ehie, and some other persons, made proper arrangements and decided to destroy, burn, and bomb the Rivers State House of Assembly. That is a clear case of arson, and that contravenes the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If you look at Section 14, subsection 2B, is simple and very clear. Again, Dr. Nweke raised a second allegation which borders on corruption and financial improprieties. He talked about large sums of money being doled out, for issues that concerns the suspended governor only, and as far as he's concerned, those were corruption and financial crimes, which contravenes, Section 15, subsection 5 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. He raised a third point also, which is, according to him, amounted to threats to public safety and security. He talked about, the blowing up of pipelines, which was one of the game plans, as being alleged by Dr. Nweke. He said Fubara and his men were arranging to blow up critical infrastructures in the state, which included pipelines and, which is a major economic nerve center for the entire Federal Republic of Nigeria. This corruption act contravenes, this threat to public safety and security contravenes, Section 1 of the Terrorism Prevention Act of 2011. Then he came again to talk about collusion with militants, that the suspended governor, alongside with his chief of staff, Edison Ehie, had several meetings with heads of militant groups. That allegation was, as far as we are concerned, was is a very, very weighty one. And that contravenes very clearly, Section 43, of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, when we look at the last allegation for which he raised, he talked about the subversion of labor rights, which he alleged, that the suspended governor of Fubara had several meetings with labor leaders, intending to suppress, some the normal workings of labor and all that. He tried to truncate it, which breaches Section 40 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which guarantees the right to peaceful assembly and association. And that is fundamentally a pillar of democracy. So now, having alleged all this, we do not know any of these parties. We are just asking for accountability in the country. We are saying that there has to be accountability. Somebody should not just wake up and give allegations that are this weighty and then you sweep them under the carpet. That we cannot accept that. We are saying that the Nigerian police, the Department for State Security Services, DSS, and the Economic and Financial Crime Commission should move into action immediately, invite persons that were mentioned in these allegations, and then investigate properly. And if these people are culpable, take them to court. That is why Nigeria is not a banana republic. Somebody cannot just come and make these allegations if he cannot prove it. Then if he cannot prove it, then the law goes the other way. Dr. Nweke has to also face it. So we as rights group, we are not holding brief for Dr. Nweke, the former head of service. Neither are we holding brief for the suspended governor of Fubara, but we are saying that the right thing should be done.
All right. I mean, those are probably maybe concerned about because as a suspended governor, he probably still enjoys some immunity. How can this work? I mean, issues of even inviting the security agencies to investigate on that matter. That's one. You have also commended the president for the declaration of state of emergency. There are a lot of critics that that has violated concern of dismissing entirely democracy in Rivers State. How do you substantiate this in the light of peace in terms of resolving the crisis in Rivers State?
Thank you so much. You see, when you look at, you raised the point here. You talked about, immunity of the governor. But if you look at Section 304, you start reading from subsection 1, you go down. You now start seeing about immunity and how immunity could also be lifted. When a sitting governor, commits infractions that, contravenes clearly the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. If a governor, commits issues that have to do with, complete aberration of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That immunity, I'm afraid will not be able to stand in that instance. Be that as it may, even if without conceding, there are persons who allegedly perpetrated this crime, according to Dr. Nweke, who are not governors, so they do not have immunity. He mentioned some names there. And what we are saying is that even if without conceding that the governor is still enjoying some immunity right now, these other people should also be brought for questioning. And if they are culpable, they should be made to face the wrath of the law. It's as simple as that.
Concern was the state of emergency. There are a lot of appeal, there are a lot of reactions trailing that confirmation by the National Assembly and of course the declaration made by the president. Do you feel that there may be a better way of returning democratic leadership back to Rivers State?
Yeah, thank you so much. You see, the primary purpose of government is security and the welfare of citizens. That's the primary purpose of government. But when you see, allegations that are so weighty, like blowing up the pipelines, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, directives to ASIN, blowing up, bombing and burning of the River State House of Assembly, which culminated to the raising, bringing it down in December 2023, you find out that, these issues are so weighty. You begin to reason and begin to think that, you see, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu is indeed very correct, is indeed very right to have declared a state of emergency in Rivers State and then suspended the governor. See, what we are saying is that no meaningful president will sit down and watch the breakdown of law and order and he does nothing. That means the country is deteriorating to a banana republic. So the president is very swift. The president acted in the interest of saving the people who live in Rivers State. Those issues of to and fro that was happening between the legislative arm of government in Rivers State and the executive arm, those things were not in the best interest of the citizens. You see, when these things happen, the people that suffer it most are the citizens. So what are we saying? As we speak now, the citizens are not going to suffer anything because the declaration by Mr. President has also been affirmed by the National Assembly. which makes it legitimate and makes it very correct and right. So if you also look at section 14, subsection 4 of section 15, subsection 4, you will see that the National Assembly will fill the vacuum, which hitherto was not even the case in the declaration by some previous presidents like Olusegun Obasanjo. We didn't get any two-third majority in the several declaration of state of emergency for which he did. So what we are saying right now, in the simplest possible term, is that President Ahmed Bola Tinubu acted in the best interest of every human being that lives in Rivers State. And as we speak now, no Rivers indigene or no Rivers worker will be owed a dime. The salaries will be paid as at when due, and work will be going on smoothly. All we need to do is what the president has said. If they are able to resolve these issues, they set machineries in motion to resolve the rift between the legislature and the executive in Rivers State. Then what is there is a very simple thing. Then normalcy could return, and things will start going the way it ought to be. But for now, because of the weighty allegations that have come up recently by Dr. Nweke, it becomes very difficult. It becomes rather very difficult because the president and no meaningful person that means well for this country called Nigeria would look at those issues and treat it with a wave of hand. It is not possible. And that is why the Nigerian police, the DFS, and the EFCC must swift into action immediately and arrest the perpetrators, bring them to book, and then they face the wrath of the law if they are indeed culpable. But if they are not culpable, Dr. Nweke has to also face the wrath of the law for blowing the wrong whistle or for giving information that is not correct.
All right, Dr. Gabriel. Of course, I appreciate you for balancing that report because a lot of concerns and counter concerns have been coming. But thanks so much because there are weighty allegations which must be critically looked into. Thanks so much for raising other concern and fighting corruption in the country. Dr. Nwabu Gabriel is the convener, Center for Credible Leadership and Citizens Awareness. Thanks so much, Doctor, for joining us on the program tonight.
Thanks for having me. Good evening once again.
That's where we leave it, everyone. Of course, a lot of reactions coming from Rivers State. And now Edo State Tribunal confirming Akpebholo as the governor of Edo State is a fresh reaction that will be coming out. Of course, we'll try and monitor developments from that area and bring to speed the conversation here on the program. Victor, my name is Edika Michael. Thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight. See you again.